Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Palestine Ramadan Radio in conjunction with the PSA, Palestine Solidarity Alliance. And on the program today, we're speaking to Raed Abu Hommus. He's a former Palestinian political prisoner and head of the International Relations Unit in the Commission for Detainees and Ex-Detainees. And he's going to be talking to us about the conditions that political prisoners find themselves in, or at least political prisoners or Palestinian political prisoners who have been incarcerated in Israeli jail in Israeli jails. Raed Abu Hommus joins me now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Raed.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah khair for your time, Sheikh. Shukran lakum and Ramadan Kareem to you, your family, and the Ummah there in Palestine, in Ramallah, where you are joining us from.
Thank you. Same to you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Raed, I just want to give our listeners and the viewers some information regarding your organization, the Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees. Could you tell us about the work you do in terms of your mission and your vision?
Yes. First of all, thanks for the Salam media and the family of this radio that allow us to speak about a very important issue, which is the Palestinian prisoners in the Israeli jails. For us as a commission of detainees and ex-detainees, we are responsible for more than 7,000 prisoners in the Israeli jails. We have divisions in the commission. We divided it as we need. We follow any Palestinian that get arrested from the moment he get arrested, from the moment we got a phone call from his family or from a person that he'll say that, for example, X is arrested. We send this letter to an operation room that's filled with lawyers. We have more than 42 lawyers all around the cities of the Palestine in the West Bank. And we follow this Palestinian person, to the place they arrested him. Then we call the family. We tell them about what we know. The lawyer will follow him to the court or to the place where he is investigated. And after that, we keep following with different lawyers to the court until he will get released. Or if he gets sentenced, we follow him to the prison. There is another path of in a work of lawyers. For example, the lawyers that they go visit prisons and prisoners inside the prisons. That's after the person is being sentenced in the court. We follow him. We get a report to this operation room. This operation room will send it to the media. The media will be spread here locally, and sometimes we spread it all around the world. It's an extraordinary job for this commission, because most of us are ex-prisoners that working in this commission. We say that you can feel with the families and with the prisoners because you are an ex-prisoner, and this is something sensitive to the nation of Palestinian. This issue is very sensitive, and it's full of problems, full of suspense that you have to be following up and keeping up. It's not like any job other. It's something that you work from your heart and from what you believe. And I think that our Palestinian freedom fighters in prisons, they deserve that we follow up with them and support them, of course, with activities, with solidarity, with so many things we can do here and all around the world until they will be free.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think thank you very much for your answer. The situation in Palestine, the situation where you are living, you've made it very clear that there are freedom fighters. People are fighting for their freedom, and the situation is very tense there. I would like to know, in terms of the Israelis, would you say they are using imprisonment of those who are trying to fight for the freedom of Palestine as a means of intimidation, as a means of trying to stifle the resistance?
Yes, of course. They are in for example, it's daily from 10 to 15 Palestinians will be arrested. For that, if I can tell you that there is 7,000 prisoners in the Israeli prisons, it's more or less, you know, it's every day there is soldiers arresting Palestinians. We have 7,000 prisoners. We have 34 female. We have 20 and more than 20 children. We have 9 parliamentarians, and we have 550 ill prisoners in the prisons. And of course, it's a daily issue that we get phones that people is arrested. They are trying, the occupying power, Israel is trying its best to cut the way of how the Palestinians feel about their land. They want to fight everyone who thinks that he loves his land and he wants the occupation out. For us, it's a routine, and we are not tired. We are since long years under occupation, and we will still fighting, and we will still fight until Palestine will be free. It's a normal life for us, somebody to get martyred. It's a normal life to arrest a child. It's a normal issue that we have freedom fighters in the prisons. But what is not natural, the silence of the world, leaving those prisoners in the Palestinian prison, Palestinian freedom fighters inside these prisons for more than 20 years. We have Karim Yunus that is sentenced next January. He will be free, and he will be done with 40 years in prison. We have more than 7,000 stories, sad stories inside these prisons. The whole world doesn't know about the situation and how it's going in these Israeli occupation prisons.
So imprisonment is used as a tactic and intimidation tool. Tell us about the conditions in the prisons. When, I mean, you told us now that, I mean, very shockingly, 20 children that are, you know, incarcerated. What are the conditions under which Palestinian prisoners, particularly those that have been...
Not 20 children, it's more than 200 children.
Oh, sorry, 200 children, sorry. Tell us about the conditions under which these prisoners are held, particularly those that are, you know, Palestinians fighting for the liberation of Palestine. What are the conditions under which they are held in Israeli prisons? Sorry.
It's not stable. Every day we have a problem. For example, today, just before 1 hour, because of the prayer of Friday, you know, it's a bunch of soldiers just got in a division number 24 in An-Nakab prison. They want to take the speaker that he speaks Salat al-Jum'ah, Khutbat al-Jum'ah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, the Imam.
Yes, they want
the Khatib.
Al-Khatib, yes, they want to isolate him, and it's always every day it's problems with them. They are trying to press on those prisoners, and those freedom fighters, they have strategies inside the prisons. They have organizations. They have connections. They have plans about the way they live inside the prison, because they feel and they believe that they didn't finish resisting the occupation. It just turned from outside to inside the prison, and they have a job to do. Every day we have problems. We get it out to the media. The last weapon that the Palestinian prisoners can use is the hunger strike. Now we have 2 hunger strikers. One of them from a village called Idna in Hebron. His name is Khalil Awaude. He's now in his 51st day of a hunger strike against the administrative detention. And there is Raed Rayyan. He's from Betukko, and he's on his 16th day on a hunger strike, of course, against the administrative detention. And administrative detention, by the way, it's a kind of, you get arrested because of the captain and the head of the intelligence, Israeli intelligence in Ramallah, for example. He thinks that you're danger, so you'll be arrested for 6 months. Then he can make it another 6 months, then another 6 months, then another 6 months. We are planning for a big campaign against the administrative detention, because people go on a hunger strike against this against this administrative detention, because they feel like it's a life sentence for them.
You know, the last time we spoke to a lady from Palestine, she did talk about administrative detention, and she did say that, you know, the hunger strikes are particularly aimed against that. And my question to you, Raed, is the hunger strikes, are they having an impact? Are they becoming an effective means to fight against this administrative detention? Do you think it's garnering enough attention for this type of injustice that is currently being meted out to Palestinian prisoners in the Israeli prisons?
I didn't hear you clearly. Can you
I'm
repeat
saying,
the question?
is it the hunger strike? Is it effective in fighting against the administrative detention?
Yes, of course. There is so many kinds of a hunger strike. One of them is the individual hunger strike, like Khalil Al-Awawde and Raed Rayyan, what they are doing now. And there is another kind of hunger strike, that's the collective one. All the organization, all the prisons, that will be the time that the negotiations got to an end. They got this to use this weapon, the hunger strike. In the individual hunger strikes, it's because it's something for a prisoner himself. He will, for example, he will be sentenced for 6 months. Then after that, they put him another 6 months. Then after 6 months, so he go in a hunger strike just to press on the intelligence to get him a deal to get out, because there is no reason for him to be in prison. And this is the only way that he can do, because court, it's a military court. It's not a court that can hear from your lawyer. It's something like just a name for a court, but it's a military court. Whatever the intelligence say to the judge, he will do. If the intelligence say that he's danger, then he will be another 6 months for in prison. And lawyer can't do anything. It's something normal here, because it's a military court. So the only weapon that prisoners can use is the hunger strike.
That is just,
they fight with their bodies. They fight with their bodies to get their freedom.
That is just so tragic. And Raed, before we go, tell us about your story. How did you get out of the Israeli prison, and under what circumstances did they jail you, and what was the circumstances of you to get out, and also to be able to play the role that you're playing now to assist other Palestinians that are in a similar predicament?
I am a normal Palestinian. From a family, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and I was active in my youth. In school, I was the head of a movement in the schools that talks and cares about Palestine and the people of Palestine and resisting the occupation. And after that, in the second Intifada, I was in a military wing of Fatah movement, as all my friends. Some of us is martyred, some of us still in prison, and some of us didn't get caught till now. This was my experience. I was in a military wing that fought the Israeli army and fought the occupation, because I feel and I want my children to live in a free country, with a free country that they can live in peace here. Here
Absolutely.
in Palestine, if you don't fight the occupation, it's something not normal to the Palestinians, because in every house you can find an injured Palestinian. You can find a prisoner, a Palestinian prisoner in this house, or martyr. So it's something for all of the Palestinians. I was a normal person that I love my country, and I want the occupation to be out. I did my job. I did a little job. I was sentenced 13 years, and I was released after 9.5 years. And I chose myself to go to this commission to help my brothers inside. I was the leader of Fatih movement in 3 prisons inside the prisons. And I know that their circumstances is very bad, and they need a support from guys that lived the same experience. I feel that for us as Muslims and as Palestinians, we share pain with each other, we feel with each other. And I'm a kind of a person that can't go normally after what I had from an experience. I can't live normally, and I feel that my brothers are still in jail. Some of them are sick. Some of them are sentenced for a lifetime, many lifetimes, and you have to do something for this. I took a decision that from the moment I was released, I worked in this commission. I finished my study and my master degree. And even within my trip of studying, I was helping, and I will continue helping. It's something built in every Palestinian who believes that this sensitive issue and this pain must be end, and prisoners must be free, and Palestine must be free. This is a normal life for us. Maybe it's not normal for the whole world, because you have to pay a tax because we're still here in Palestine under occupation. But this is what we believe. This is what we believe, and I can't change my principles toward those brothers and towards the main case, which is throwing out the occupation out of Palestine.
Right.
And I will teach this to my children too.
Subhanallah. Right. I really want to thank you for your bravery. I want to commend you for your dedication to your brothers. And thank you so much for that very powerful message. May Allah reward you. May Allah keep you going strong, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you this month of Ramadan as well, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ameen. Right, Abu Hommus, he's joining us there from Ramallah in Palestine, talking to us about the conditions of Palestinian prisoners. Some very shocking statistics that he's shared with us. 7,000 Palestinians in Israeli jails right now. 7,000. And many of them, they're under very, very difficult conditions. He talks about the 200 children. He talks about 560 Palestinian prisoners that are ill. He talks about female prisoners as well. And every single day, 10 to 15 Palestinians are arrested by the Israeli forces. Why? Because this is their way of responding to freedom fighters, and they try to intimidate the freedom fighters by throwing them in jail under what is called administrative detention, which is arbitrary. There's no reason. It could be on the whims and fancies of anybody in the Israeli forces that will say to a judge in the military court that so-and-so is dangerous. And who's to say who's dangerous and who's not? While it's really based upon the definition of those Israeli operatives that are currently the occupying force. Of course, you're going to find everybody else to be dangerous if you occupy a country illegally. And that is exactly how they respond to the resistance. And of course, very, very sad, very, very difficult conditions under which Palestinians are kept in Israeli jails. Bringing our time to 23 minutes to 6 Central African time. Another announcement here from Sentio. Sentio is an ethically based asset manager focused on delivering superior risk-adjusted returns for their clients, regardless of market conditions. For more information on their Sharia-compliant investment products, visit the website at www.sentio-capital.com and start saving towards your investment goals today. Sentio Capital Management, invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized FSP.